Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Art is the reshaping of reality by man to present it in an understandable way. As the artist recreates the world around him, it is shaped by how he sees it and what he believes in. The Indian artist did not attempt to depict only the material reality around him. He wished to share the complete experience of the moment, not just the photographic presentation of the shapes around him. Beauty for the Indian artist has been a reflection of the glory of God. In fact, for the ancient artist, the experience of beauty, the ecstasy on seeing nature or art which is truly beautiful, has been considered as akin to Brahmanand or the final bliss. Join us on this journey into the heart of the Indian tradition of painting. Come with us to the gorge of the Vajrayana river, where Ajanta was created, to the courts of the Mughals and the Deccani Sultans. Journey with us through the deserts of Rajasthan and the icy lands of Ladakh and Lahore Spiti. In the verdant south and in the gentle hills of the north, experience the compassionate view of life that is enshrined in Indian painting.
From Ladakh in the west to Arunachal Pradesh in the east, across the highest mountains of the world, is the region which has an unbroken tradition of Indian mural painting. These are the lands where Vajrayana Buddhism was introduced by the great sage Guru Padma Sambhava in the 8th century. Paintings through many centuries since then are to be found in the Buddhist monasteries throughout this region. In the comparative seclusion of these great mountains, the art of mural painting continues as a living tradition till today. Guru Padma Sambhava had studied at the Nalanda University of Eastern India. This was one of the greatest universities in the history of the world and was visited by scholars and pilgrims from all the Buddhist countries of Asia. It was here that the Vajrayana form of Buddhism was created.
Vajrayanist was a form of Buddhism that started to dominate Buddhist art and Buddhist thought, philosophy and Buddhist liturgy from the 6th century onwards. By the 8th century it had become the dominant expression of Buddhism, not only in India but also in other parts of Asia.
The Vajra is the thunderbolt. The logic of this form of Buddhism is supposed to be as clear and as striking as the thunderbolt. Indeed, at the great Nalanda and Vikramshila universities, scholars went deep into philosophical quests and logically analyzed the many questions which assail the human mind. The various attributes of the Buddha were personified, and a large pantheon of deities was created to present the qualities of the Buddha before the worshipper. Paintings remained extremely important, as they provided images for men to meditate upon. The worshipper was supposed to meditate upon the image of the deity before him until he fully imbibed the qualities of the Buddha which were presented in that image. He then became that deity himself. Another great center of Buddhism interacted continuously with the universities of eastern India. This was Kashmir. Amidst the great natural beauty of the valley, the philosophers here remained constantly aware of the beauty of the Lord. Vajrayana Buddhism and Kashmir Shaivism evolved to great heights in this valley, which produced some of the finest Indian thinkers. From earliest times, the Trans-Himalayan and Himalayan kingdoms took a very deep interest in Buddhism and Sanskrit scriptures. Through the centuries, scholars were constantly sent from Tibet and Nepal to the great centers of Kashmir and Nalanda to acquire knowledge. The most remarkable personality responsible for the spread of Buddhism across the Himalayas is the sage Guru Padma Sambhava. He is known in the Himalayan belt as the second Buddha. The great Guru gave a spectacular and colorful dimension to the religion and swept across the entire mountainous region, establishing Buddhism forever. He is worshipped as the one who cleansed the land and dispelled evil spirits. He brought with him the cham, or the masked dance of the lamas, which manifests the power and the glory of the Buddhist faith. Paintings of the great Guru and a large pantheon of protective deities are seen across the Himalayas to ensure the purity of the lands. Buddhists write their prayers upon these flags so that the passing winds may take their prayers and carry them everywhere. With the fall of the great monasteries and universities of eastern India and of Kashmir after the 12th century, the Trans-Himalayan and Himalayan regions were left to preserve the art and philosophical heritage of Buddhism. It is quite marvelous to see how Tibet, Nepal, and northeastern India shaped and preserved these traditions. Traditions which were by now entirely lost in the places of their birth. Tibet took to Buddhism with a great zeal. Paintings were made in extremely large numbers to make clear and to make manifest the details of the numerous deities which were described in religious texts. The artist manifested before the worshipper the deep and logical philosophy which was developed at the Nalanda and Vikramshila universities. Nepal is geographically very close to the cultural centers of the Indian plains. There is a great heritage of philosophy and art which Nepal has shared with India over the centuries. With the disruption of Buddhist centers in India, monks and scholars took refuge in Nepal. They carried with them their greatest treasures, their valued manuscripts and paintings. Thereafter, Nepal became the principal land which continued the Buddhist art heritage of the plains of eastern India. From across the Trans-Himalayan plateau, Nepal also received the concepts of Kashmir Shaivism. The valley of Kathmandu was like a great crucible where the philosophical ideas from eastern India met those from Kashmir. Paintings were made in large numbers for both the Hindu and the Buddhist faith. A marvelous instance of the importance given to knowledge in the Vajrayana faith is the worship of Prajna Paramita, the goddess of the perfection of wisdom. This was a manuscript which was respected so deeply that it was personified as a goddess. Besides Buddhist manuscripts, illustrated manuscripts of Hindu divinities were also made in large numbers. The early paintings of Nepal continued the gentle and overflowing tradition of compassion and grace, which was born at Ajanta. They are sublime, and they appear to open doors into a peaceful sanctuary away from the confusion of the material world. Vajrayana Buddhism and Hinduism in Nepal appear similar, and there are no definite lines which separate them.
Here at the Swambhunath Stoop in Kathmandu, this Vajra or thunderbolt represents the Vajrayana form of Buddhism, in which the logic of Buddhism is supposed to be as striking and as clear as a thunderbolt.
After the fall of the Buddhist centers of India, Tibet became central for Buddhist art and studies and became the main influence on Nepal. From Tibet came a new artistic style. The paintings of Tibet now represented the vast pantheon of Vajrayana deities in a formal and detailed manner. These artistic influences were assimilated in the crucible of the Kathmandu Valley to form a rich blend of cultures. Through the medieval period, Nepal was influenced by styles of painting of the powerful Mughal and Rajput courts in India. Bhaktapur in the Kathmandu Valley was one of the great capitals of Nepal. The best preserved mural paintings in the Kathmandu Valley are to be found here, in the 17th century palace of Bhupatindra Malla. The clothes worn by the figures in these paintings remind us of the deep influence which the Mughal court had in Nepal. There are royal portraits here as well as paintings of the theme of Lord Krishna. The narrative form of the paintings closely follows medieval Indian traditions. In fact, in style and in theme, the Hindu paintings of Nepal are very similar to early Rajasthani paintings. Further to the east, we come to the verdant hills of Sikkim. The paintings of Sikkim represent one of the most colorful continuing traditions. The sober and formalized art which reaches the eastern Himalayas is transformed in this environment.
In the lush green mountains, the exuberance and color of life constantly stir the artist. The paintings burst forth within their frames with the vitality of life.
The formal aspects of the deities have to be maintained, as these paintings are aids to meditation and prayer. However, the artists here delight in adding lively touches. The paintings in the Mahakal rooms, or gongkangs, present a world of fantasy and terrifying power. Here the artists have a greater freedom in expressing their imagination than they have when modeling images of gods. Bhutan, the land of the thunder dragon. Guru Padma Sambhava is believed to have descended here on the back of a flying tigress. He cleansed the land of the evil spirits that hindered the spread of Buddhism. Even today, he is the most beloved deity who is worshipped in his many manifestations and forms in Bhutan. Bhutan is a small mountain kingdom which has maintained its seclusion and the privacy of its tantric Buddhism. The paintings have deep roots in the ancient traditions of Vajrayana Buddhism. The Bhutanese artists take us into a world of vivid imagination. They show us the spectacle of life in the physical world and transformed by the magical imagination of Guru Padma Sambhava. The deities and the spirits seem immersed in the cham dance created by the Guru. Bhutan has preserved the sanctity of the art of religious painting. It is the one land where paintings are till today made with a deep reverence and meditative care. The school of art of Zorig Chushum was founded in the 17th century and continues the art of religious painting. As in the ancient tradition, the aim of the painter is not to make a work of art. It is an act of faith to represent with devotion the aspects of eternal truth. Artists from Bhutan continue the tradition of painting across the Himalayas. It is their work which is seen on the walls of the magnificent Tawang Monastery in Arunachal Pradesh. The glorious heights of the mountains of Arunachal Pradesh represent the eastern frontiers of the lands transformed by Guru Padma Sambhava. The deep tantric philosophy and art, which was created in the plains of eastern India and in Kashmir, flourishes as a living tradition till today. In the high mountains of the Himalayas, the art of religious painting is preserved away from the clamour of the fast-changing world. Indeed, the mountainous crucible has been a paradise which has assimilated and preserved the finest traditions of Vajrayana Buddhist painting.